Let's stick on some synthwave.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And ride this baby. Drive this baby.
No, I'm not doing that. Come on, man.
Hey gang, it's Mike Belshaw here, and welcome to the first vlog in a series that will take you through our journey as we've done it, as you've seen it. I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for supporting us through Patreon and other forms of social media. Without your help and inspiration, this project probably wouldn't be where it is today. From suggestions on vehicles that we're going to review to locations that we should go and shoot at. For those of you who have never heard of us before, we are Final Film, and we're currently working with NRW in a partnership to expand their horizons. For myself, I started writing for NRW back in 2015 for their automotive section, and since then I've built up a relationship with our synthwave brothers and sisters across the pond who kindly agreed to my mad idea of creating a cinematic car show whilst representing some of the best artists in the synthwave community. Grab a coffee, cup of tea, crack open a beer and join me as we go from 2017 until now. So I'd previously been working with the Final Film crew on a concept for a sci-fi action series called Retrograde Future, where my passion for cars was recognised by the team, and Chris Stratton sent me the post from NRW. In case you weren't aware, the Final Film crew consists of 4 guys. That's me, Mike Belshaw, Chris Stratton, Martin Tucker and Rob James. Hailing from the Cotswolds, we all led separate lives till around 5 years ago. We all quite unexpectedly came to know each other and worked on a project called Retrograde Future, a sci-fi buddy cop conceptual feature which one day we hope to produce as a full feature film or series. So we're no stranger to long cold nights filming take after take, trying to achieve the perfect shot. Often led by the mad genius that is Chris Stratton, these freelance pros have all contributed to the way our features look and feel. In 2017 I began writing for NRW, but Chris was dropping massive hints after a year that I should pick up a camera and make it into a show. I was really reluctant to do this because, I had been in front of a camera in Retrograde, but it wasn't presenting. And I had grown up obsessed by cars, so I was then a keen viewer of Top Gear when I got a little older, and their effortless presenting style was something I never thought I'd have to attempt myself, but you know, if I had a car show of my own, it would be done in a similar, easy to watch style. So, armed with just a mobile phone, I began to flesh out the idea behind the show. My issue was I knew friends and some acquaintances with retro cars, but past that point, where would these cars come from? My original idea, based on the fact I was potentially going to work for a music channel, New Retro Wave, was to incorporate the artists as much as possible. Give them a platform and then with any luck make almost music videos from their tracks for these cars. The Let's Drive section of the episodes was literally born on the fly during a shooting of episode 1. For the trailer, me and Chris wanted to create something with a lot of depth and obviously high quality, something with a real Hollywood feel to it. So, armed with the Sony A7S, myself and Chris went out, and in one night we captured the footage of what we believed the components for the show would be. I've always had a passion for driving, and before I jumped in with both feet into the synthwave music scene, I used to compile my own compilations for driving my journeys, sometimes even sticking on the radio stations from GTA Vice City. The visual style of neons and beautiful cars on the road is something that will one day be a distant memory. Still today, people keep that vision alive with a combination of music and visuals, and I love that. As with many people who enjoy a good road movie, I was inspired by the visuals of Drive. With a beautiful colour palette and a satisfying pace, when the action does happen, it's reminiscent of the effortlessly cool Bullet, and not the usual chaotic CGI fest from Hollywood. Cars take us on a journey, literally and figuratively, and to capture that in visuals alone is what we tried to do. This wasn't supposed to be any other car show, this was more of a homage to those moments we recall from the past, and also to give people something to talk about. The crucial shots were the gear up and head out to drive, My dream was to only ever drive these cars myself in different situations in each episode, not just for driving, but with a purpose. It could have been as simple as driving to the arcade, or going on a date, meeting friends, or maybe just to soak in some atmosphere. With memories of my favourite on-film driving sequences from Rocky IV to Miami Vice, I wanted to sow the seeds to grow something great. The car had to be something 100% 80s, and it just so happened that the car that I had sold previous to the creation of Retro Motors was my Nissan 300ZX, which I had named Alita. The guy that I had sold it to a few years ago offered it back to me, and I took no time in going to pick that up. The timing was perfect and it needed no more thought. It was her or nothing. For the music track, that came fairly easily to me. I had previously heard All Night by Tokyo Rose on YouTube. He is one of my favourite artists by far from the scene, and he had created a powerful track with LeBrock, who we had booked for an event in London the previous year. Their enthusiasm to create something as bold as the rock from the late 80s was just what I needed to complement this project. We had everything ready to go, and all that was needed was the intro video to the new show. I had no idea what to expect, but the team in the States had promised a video created by new Retro Wave's go-to artist, Overglow. This guy knows what he's doing. An artist so innovative in his retro design, he's envied and plagiarised globally. What came through on an email from the team had me grinning from ear to ear. It was everything and more. I couldn't have dreamt up something more retro if I had been knocked out by a Pontiac Trans Am whilst wearing double denim sipping a Pepsi. It was like a high school science program intro mixed into a video game and car show. I was speechless. All that I had to do then was to stick the intro onto the front of the trailer edit and fire it out to the world. I've never been more proud of something that I've created, and with the crew's help we continue to innovate and dream up new concepts. Again, I'd like to thank you all for showing us support in what we do. We have entered into all of this with the intention to work to live more creatively, but we can't do that without you guys. If you haven't already subscribed to Patreon, please consider this to help us tick along, and we'll be releasing more content in there for the core supporters. In the next vlog, I'll be going into detail how we produced the pilot episode and what it was like to drive a DeLorean. See you next time.